That's my buddy Ben Eunson, who also has an amazing YouTube channel that you should check out. In today's video, that is one of the licks we're gonna be transcribing, because for me, that already just broke my brain just hearing it again. So we're gonna break that as well as some other amazing licks down and take a look at how they're working and why they're working. What are the modern elements that go into the shapes of these lines? I'll also show you some of the chord changes from this song as well. And by the way, if you want to be one of the first people to hear my album, and also one of the only people to get a limited edition vinyl copy, potentially even signed, make sure to click the link in the description and sign up for the waitlist for my album. I'd also like to thank our sponsor for this video, Transcribe Plus, which is actually the app that I will be using throughout the video today. So how can we learn to understand and even create our own modern licks and lines like the ones we just heard? So let's dive into these licks that I think are going to break your brain, or maybe your hands. So first things first, before we dive into that incredible Ben Eunson lick that I showed you early on in the video, I want to take a look at a couple others, but be sure to stick around because that lick for me is just ridiculous, and I think you're going to really want to understand how it's working. But let's start here with probably one of all of our favorite pianists, Brad Mehldau. Let's take a look at a lick from a solo that I've always found absolutely fascinating. So you definitely will want to pay close attention here. There's some really interesting dissonances happening here. So this is on the song CTA from one of his live albums. This song sounds like this. Or something close to that. So it's basically a rhythm changes tune, except instead of a 1, 6, 2, 5, we actually start off right on top with a dominant chord, so a B flat dominant here, and then we move down in whole steps and then get to the F, right? So we still start on 1 and end on 5 in this progression that replaces the 1, 6, 2, 5, but instead we move sequentially down here. Now let's take a quick listen to this Brad Mehldau lick, and I'm gonna have it actually slowed down somewhat. So I'm going to adjust this down to 0.75 speed so we can hear a little bit more of what's going on here. And you'll hear that this is directly over the 1625 replacement at the beginning of the head here. So let's take a listen. I'm going to let it loop. All right, so this is really, really interesting. You can probably hear that it's fairly dissonant, and I've always been so interested in how this works. And so the more I've analyzed this solo, the more I've come into calling this something that I like to think of as bebop shifting. We're about to talk about that, but really quick, I just want to thank our sponsor for today's video, Transcribe Plus, which is actually the app that I'm going to be using throughout the video today to be transcribing these licks. Transcribe Plus is easily one of the best transcribing apps I have ever used. In fact, I've actually been having so much fun with it. It's kind of revitalized my love of transcription in general. It's really easy to slow tracks down. You can even analyze them and remove different instruments so you can hear what's going on better. But for me, the best part is that you can just really easily create loops in the solo, see exactly where they are, and what I like to do is make them repeat seamlessly, slow it down, and just keep practicing the lick over and over. I never have to click back and repeat the lick. It just loops seamlessly. I highly recommend that you click the link right down in the description and check out Transcribe Plus. So there's pentatonic shifting, right? Which is essentially where you take a pentatonic scale. So let's take B flat dominant pentatonic. And then the shift is essentially just shifting out of the key somewhere nearby. So there I just shifted up to B dominant pentatonic. Well, I think that Brad essentially is shifting in and out of the original key, but doing this all with bebop lines. Now that is definitely a very simplified version of what's happening, and maybe that's something I'll go into a little deeper in another video. But for today, let's just take a look at this one specific lick and see if we can understand how he's shifting in and out of the key. All right, so I'm gonna slow this down even further using Transcribe Plus here. And you'll notice as you listen that I actually have this looping exactly, so we could just keep learning the lick and looping it over and over. So let me show you what this looks like in the hands. And let's actually assume for the purposes of this lick that we are going more or less over a rhythm changes, but that first chord is a B flat 7 here. All right, so right off the bat, we're starting on the tritone, going up to the 5. And then right here is where I think the first shift happens, right? So we got this B flat dominant sound. And right off the bat here, we are now on a B, so that's totally non-diatonic. So we're really kind of outlining a B diminished chord here. And then here we go. So I think what we're doing here is really an approach note pattern, moving just up in half steps to A major. So right here on the F7 is where we actually hit this A, right? So right here we got this dissonance formula of A major over F, or essentially the major, a major third above our dominant chord. So here we go. A, E, B, and let's hear that over original rhythm changes here. All right, that's some interesting stuff. So what we're getting here is kind of like this. And then okay. So you can kind of see how these dissonances work literally harmonically. And this is a really cool thing that you can do when you're analyzing one of these, brain-breaking licks, one of these super strange modern licks. You can see what are the harmonic sounds that we're actually getting here, the kind of polychordal sounds. So here we're really getting this B7 over F. So that's very much a more typical sound, this tritone dominant 7th chord over our original dominant 7th. And then there we kind of resolve to the B flat 7. And there finally the lick is completely resolved into the E flat major, right, of our rhythm changes. So we get this amazing sequential way of moving in and out, and of course we finally resolve, which is a really important part of playing an out lick like this successfully. And voila, it sounds awesome. Oh, and by the way, really quick, if you're enjoying this video, please be sure to hit that like button, really helps me out. And if you want to try this out yourself, be sure to check out that link to Transcribe Plus in the description. Now next up is a lick you are definitely going to want to learn because this one is just so tasty. I don't think there's a better word for it. So this one is from the great Oscar Peterson, and this is actually a lick that one of my mentees has been working on. By the way, if you're interested in joining the mentorship program, click the link below to schedule a completely free strategy call with one of my team members. Great people to chat with. They can help you out and see if you would be a good fit for the program. So I completely fell in love with this lick and of course had to load it up in Transcribe Plus. So let's take a listen to it here nice and slow. So this is on the last phrase of a D flat blues. This is from Night Train, his album Night Train, and the song Things Ain't the Way They Used to Be. This is one of my favorite solos of all time, possibly my favorite Oscar Peterson solo, just in terms of sheer tastefulness and just how swinging it is. It's just unbelievable. And this lick is just gorgeous. So let me play it for you so you can see what's going on first, and then we'll analyze it a bit. Try one more time. All right, cool. And you'll notice how I have that looping so that it's a perfect loop. That way I can just keep repeating the lick in time, even continuing to learn it at faster tempos. So something like this. And I can keep repeating that, going faster and faster until I'm at the original tempo. Now I think maybe the most important thing about learning a lick like this, in my opinion, is trying to get the time feel right. So in the very first playthrough I did Slow For You, I actually was rushing a bit. The second time through, I tried to compensate for that and really feel it where Oscar was feeling it. And this is especially interesting and intricate of a time exercise because this is so drastically slowed down. So if you can really get that timing right, it's really gonna help you with your time feel. So let's do a quick analysis of this lick. So we're really starting on an F minor here to B flat 7, which gets us to E flat minor 7, which is the first chord of the final phrase of the D flat blues. So that last phrase is gonna be E flat minor to A7 to D flat 7, right? So on this 2-5 we do, that's pretty simple, right? We're arpeggiating over the F minor 7 here. We got flat 7, flat 3, 5, flat 7 again. So this is a flat 13, right? On the B flat. And then we land here on the flat 3 of E flat. Simple arpeggiating in E flat minor 9. But then I love this spot right here. This is a really nice spot to analyze in terms of the rhythm and the rhythmic choices he places in this lick. Awesome, so this is getting us these leading tones up into this. So just check that one little turn inflection out here. Such a great swing inflection. Highly recommend that you learn that. And then this right here is another great blues lick. Snapping these fingers, this flick here, 2 to 3, and keeping the pinky on top. And right here, we resolve right to the 3. So beautiful, beautiful Oscar Peterson lick. Make sure to try that out. So now let's take a look at that incredible Ben Eunson lick that he played to basically show me up on my own album. Come on, Ben. But no, I'm so proud to have him on it. So let's take a listen to this. We're going to switch over now to my tune Back Cycles. Here we go, loading up the file nice and easy. And you can see these green portions right here. Going to take us to the lick I want to go over. And it's actually going to be the second loop right here. All right, y'all ready for this? Let's take a listen at normal speed and then we'll break it down. I don't even know if I could play this normal speed. All right, let's slow this down all the way down to half speed now and see if we can kind of hear what's going on. All right, let's take a look at this. So first of all, let me show you the changes here. So this is a piece of my song Back Cycles, and kind of this cycle works by moving through tritone substitutions basically, and just constantly doing that. So we got B major, down a tritone to F minor, to E major, up a tritone or down a tritone, same thing, to B flat 7 sharp 9 sharp 5, and then down a half step to A major, down a tritone to E flat minor, to D major, up to A flat 7 sharp 9 sharp 5. So you'll kind of see how this progression is working, how this cycle is working. Now, soloing over it is not easy, and doing it at the speed that Ben just did it is mind-boggling. So I felt like I had to transcribe this and just see exactly what he was doing here. So let's take a look. Let's play this nice and slow so that you can see it on the piano. let's break this down. So over the B major, we're actually quite simply doing a B major 7. Nice little arpeggio. And then over the F minor, a nice F minor arpeggio. And what I love about this is we're taking a simple idea and we're essentially staying in the same area and making it work with great voice leading, even from the melodic standpoint. So if we want to just improvise through the whole tune like this, that would be an incredible improvisation exercise. And so on. I have to practice this more. But so you can see how taking this one simple idea through these tricky changes is a really excellent exercise for your ear. Ben does this effortlessly, so he keeps going. We got right there on the E major, and then this kind of makes this E major 6 sound for a second. But really what he's doing, and this is another really important improvisation concept, is he's leading into the B flat altered chord here. Right. So this is awesome because when the changes are moving by so fast, it can really help the line sound great and solid by preemptively striking the next chord. And that's basically what he is doing. He's preemptively starting that B flat altered sound so that when he lands the chord there, when the bass lands there, you really get this awesome resolution. And then here we are in the A major. Right here we're doing an enclosure pattern to bring us to the minor third of the E flat minor, and arpeggiating the E flat minor, and then this part's really cool. And the way I think of this is really this whole little line segment right here is leading us into this A flat altered sound. So, woo! So we actually are really getting here the sound of a flat 9 and a 13. So over the A flat, we get this flat 9 right there, and flat 9 13 right here. Really cool. And if we want to break this arpeggio down, make it even a little bit more piano friendly, well, I would essentially think of this as basically a triad pair of F major and D major over A flat. So we can go, you know, F major, D major, or we could do it like this pattern. Things like that, right? And we can get these really, really interesting, beautiful sounds. You could also just think of it as that A flat flat 9 sound, so really nice piano friendly versions. So let's take a look at that whole lick. Leading into that B flat altered, leading down to A major, to E flat minor, and now we're going to lead into this A flat flat 9 sound. Sorry, I'm kind of freezing up as I talk and try to do these licks at the same time. See what I mean about breaking your brain? So if I had to give you one really interesting takeaway about this lick, what I would probably say is most interesting to me is that because the chords are moving so fast, some of these chords are kind of passing chords from one to the next, and Ben is almost treating them that way from the improvisational standpoint. He's actually oftentimes improvising almost like they're only half the amount of chords, and some of those chords in the middle just give him space to essentially begin the lick for the next chord. Really quick, let's just see what happens if I try to put this into full speed. It's not going to be pretty. I lost it there. Honestly, I'm surprised I even got that far. So I'll be super impressed if one of you can play this lick. Let me know in the comments if you get it. I would love to see that. Maybe tag me on social media, on Instagram, if you can do it. That would be a really fun challenge. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. That is all I have for you today. If you're new to the channel, please consider clicking subscribe because I've got really, really awesome tutorials coming out every week, at least awesome in my opinion, but I think the information in them is really, really valuable. If you got a lot out of this video, hit that like button. And of course, if you dug the Transcribe Plus app that I've been using throughout this video, make sure to click the link in the description and download that app to your phone. Super amazing app, super affordable as well if you decide to get the full upgrade. So thanks again to Transcribe Plus for sponsoring this video, and I highly recommend you click the link below in the description and download the app, try it out, and decide if maybe you do want to subscribe to the full version, which is just amazing. Now here's the thing though, transcribing licks is one thing, but how are you doing with transcribing chords? That can really be its own challenge. So thankfully, I've got a video for you on that. I'm gonna put it right up on the screen. All right, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.